The foreign ministers of the G20 are in New Delhi to discuss a variety of global issues and collective responses to such challenges. And Ukraine crisis is expected to take center stage at this year's meeting again. To discuss the major issues and what to expect, we're joined by Professor Kim Jae-chun from Sogang University. Welcome to the program.
Good to be here.
Good morning. Like I said, the Ukraine crisis is expected to top the agenda at the meeting this year. And is there anything constructive expected to come out of the talks between the foreign ministers?
Well, I doubt it. As with many other international events, war in Ukrainian war will be at the top of the agenda. This is rather unfortunate because G20 Foreign Ministers meeting is a venue to talk about non-traditional security issues. Non-traditional security issues such as ODA, official development assistance, climate change, international terrorism, food and security issues. But since the war in Ukraine has become the most pressing issue, it's going to be at the top of the agenda. I mean, it's going to overshadow other issues. Is there going to be any fruitful talks? Is there going to be any breakthrough for the war during the G20? I doubt it. The war has been stalemated since last November, and neither side is willing to back down. There's just too much at stake for both sides. And finding a diplomatic off-ramp at this point is virtually impossible now. So, sure, I mean, there's a battle taking place in Bakhmut, a city in Donbass, but though the war will drag on for a long time, and it has become a war of attrition. So I don't think there's going to be any substantial talk coming out of G20 Foreign Ministers meeting this time.
Right. Well, hopefully there's no one walking out this time. Now, U.S. China tensions are also set to dominate the foreign ministers meeting, right? But the U.S. State Department said there'll be no face-to-face between the American top diplomat Antony Blinken and his Chinese counterpart Qin Gang. Why is that? And still, what tension can we expect at the G20?
Well, as you said, many people actually expected that there's going to be a face-off between Antony Blinken and Qin Gang, China's new foreign minister, but Blinken said that he has no plan to meet Qin Gang, actually either Qin Gang or Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov during his stay in India. However, there is going to be a group session that foreign ministers of three countries will all attend. I'm not sure whether Blinken will meet either Qin Gang or Lavrov on the sidelines. But Blinken said that, I mean, at this point, neither Russia nor China is ready to engage in any serious diplomatic talks. Blinken actually met with Qin Gang in Munich a couple of weeks ago,
right?
For Munich security dialogue. And the meeting failed to produce any meaningful outcomes. It's been all stalemate. I mean, it was the first meeting after the unfortunate China balloon incident. That incident that soured the relations between the two countries. And I think it's going to take a long time for two countries to mend fences.
Right. And also a meeting of foreign ministers of Quad countries, that's the U.S., India, Australia, and Japan, is scheduled to take place on the sidelines of the foreign ministers meeting. What are they expected to discuss this time? Well,
for one thing, Japanese foreign minister is not coming, so it's going to be a vice foreign minister of Japan who will be attending instead. And India won't be too happy about that. Anyways, meeting of Quad, Quad foreign minister is to show to the world that four countries are very serious about upholding rules-based international order, and to protect openness and freedom of navigation in the Pacific region. It's basically to show to the world that four countries are in it together. However, India's position on war in Ukraine did some damage to the unity of Quad, because unlike the United States, Japan, and Australia, India continuously trade with Russia and continuously import oil and weapons from Russia. So I think at this stage of the war, there is all the more reason why Quad countries will have to take advantage of G20 as a venue to show that they are that serious about protecting rules-based international order.
Right. The meetings will officially kick off today, so we'll have to see the result and the outcome of the meetings this year. All right. Thank you, Professor, for your insight as always.
Thank you for having me.